Yeah, I'm about to step in the ring for the fight of my life. Hit my knees and I strap on my gloves. Boy, I've been prepping since like I was 7. The thing is, I'm already covered in blood. Walking in love, this for the ones who been stuck in the mud. Searching for hope. Trust me, I know what it feel like to drown in my problems, but God came and threw me the rope. Can't wait to look in his eyes. All of my life, I've been battling lies. I found the truth and took off my disguise. Come from my head, I still live for the prize. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I was in the city going down, trying to blow. Everything changed when I learned to let it go. Hopping on stage, I ain't in it for the show. Only got one life, so I gotta let them know. Talk about real. I seen a man's whole bad heel. I seen a woman drooling out the mouth. I seen the demons in the casket out. I seen my brother throw his whole vape in the lake. See smooth heel from the dark. I seen the spirit change my own heart. Can't tell it all, but this a good start.
K to the second letter. Who got the keys to the Jeep in the hiller? They ain't never been realer. I am not shook, I'm aligned in till my face blue still. I ain't never been stiller. Ooh, KB ain't gotta get bigger. Southside sing killers, bring light to the dark spots. Wake up, I didn't make up, just God to the vine concealer. On the bread of heavens, like the red and black 11s, walking through the pearly gates. Popping through the most, I'm in the Holy Ghost. I'm looking like the Pope swerving race. They gon' get the word today. I send a text back, never curved the fate. Jesus, curses break. Slaves get freed and the words away. Ever seen a dope dealer? Cold killer.
Good afternoon. This is the Rio George of the Jungle on the Spirit Animal Podcast, and today we do have a special guest coming directly from Florida. This man is not only a motivational speaker, but a great as well mentor throughout the years. Dabbled his feet in a lot of things, from working at Tesla to joining himself with various companies of great prestige, known as insurance companies, or as some might follow, depending on the building that you're trying to make. This man was one of the creators for some of the buildings that was coming down with the life insurance with people helping people. Not only that, but this man does work with a new company called Family First Life. So if you are interested in talking to him directly, you are more than welcome. I will include all of his information down in the description, where you can go ahead and reach him directly, whether if it's credit repair or any type of work. This man can help you directly. He deals directly with the financial industry now during this time. But without further ado, Jesse Hantla.
What's up, buddy? How you doing, George?
Man, how's it going, brother?
Long time, man. Long time. Remember when your babies were just getting born, and
That's true.
We were getting you started in the financial services industry, and lots changed since then, brother. But I'm proud to see your adventure.
Absolutely, man. It's
now
a pleasure
for you, the spirit animal. So
the spirit animal, yes, man. Yeah, a lot has happened throughout the years, and one of the reasons that we didn't want to bring you on was because of that entrepreneur mindset. There's a lot of development that did happen through our ventures out there in Vegas. A lot of development that did continue to happen throughout the years, whether we tagged on each other or vice versa. A lot of inspiration came from your hand. I'm not saying that I love you to 100%, man, or your ideologies. There's some things that I like to conflict, because I do believe in my own self.
Yep.
But
as you should. I'm glad you're a free thinker. So
absolutely, brother. We should all think for ourselves. And your spirituality, man, it really did take a turn, and I might have been a little bit fragile at the time that we met, or I didn't have experience. But there was some things that I took, from your way of thinking, or your faith, because that's kind of what I saw, more of faith rather than a practice towards a specific religion. There was a lot of touchy emotional moments where we met people throughout the years or throughout the process at places where there were synchronicities or some type of venture going on where things sort of kind of aligned that same day. Whether if I was at a coffee shop that same day, we would have some type of renaissance in a conversation at midnight about the same conversation that we had in the morning. So it was some type of spiritual journey going on at that point, which brings great relevance to this conversation. Brother, before we do get started, how's your day going, bro?
That's fantastic. I'm actually really, really excited because I relocated to Miami last year, but I'm going back to Vegas this weekend for a new adventure. Obviously, it's got to do a lot with business and some pleasure, but I'm really excited to link up with some friends, hang out with some special people, if you know what I mean. And yeah, and it's just yeah, I'm really just pumped up and excited for what's going on right now. Like new chapters are unlocking, new levels are starting to show face, and getting little sneak peeks of what's to come. So it's exciting. But yeah, you said something a second ago when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to the faith in general. And I don't really necessarily call like I'm following a religion. I have a relationship with God. Like that's what Christianity is for me. It's a relationship. It's like how we have a relationship. But like for me, I can do more with God, and I'm a firm believer because my life's been better over the last 5 years because of that. I've made better decisions, better choices. I've given up some bad and toxic relationships that weren't really serving me. And now we're here. So I guess we're going to dive into the rest and see. Hopefully you can help and inspire some people because, I'm not saying I'm special or anything, but, I would have to say through the adversity over the last couple of years, I've definitely learned a lot about myself. But, one thing I feel that's always been a solid go-to or a place of foundation and strength has been my faith. So
Definitely, man. And without faith, and regardless if it's a spiritual or a religion or a relationship, like you were saying, as long as you have faith in anything, it should come to realization. It's not only the matter of the law of attraction, but it's a sense of energy.
yeah. And I'm all about people because you can feel spirits, feel people's energy. You can feel people's like what they're walking around with, I guess you could say. And I've gotten really, really particular about, certain poses and movements and exercises, and I hear a lot of people do this, like, oh, Jesse, do you do yoga? I'm like, no, bro, I don't. It's like, it's kind of new age. I'm not like a believer of crystals. I don't like walk around like worshiping some stones and like holding stones. Like, this is the energy. This is going to heal me. No, bro. Like what's going to heal you is going and putting minerals and doing the exercise and the things that your body's depleted of, you actually put them in. So like, how do you figure out about that? You go to the doctor, go get blood work, go figure out what's going on with your body. And I don't know, like I could go on for like 2 days about this, but like, the new age, like stuff, I feel like a lot of it kind of ties into a lot of demonic traits, and you got to really protect your energy because in this day of age, everybody is at a spiritual attack. Like, and the greater mass of people don't even realize it. And a lot of the power players that people have control, they know exactly what's going on, and they're trying to, excuse my French, but they're trying to F with your mind, because if they can control this, they can control your thoughts, your ideology, where you're going to put your kids in school, what you're going to consume, who you're going to talk to, what you're going to feel, like what you're going to listen to, what your next 10 years looks like. Are you going to be living off the government? I mean, I deal with this stuff all the time. It's genuinely sad to see, but like this is programming that's been happening for 100 years.
And even before, I mean, and that's not only within just the culture of separate paganistic rituals, but as well as Orthodox or Christianity or Catholicism. Like there's everything has a light and a darkness, and that's what balance is. But
up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Pray,
no,
move to beat.
No,
pray, move to beat. Like I don't know, man.
Exactly, but if you get out of that rhythm, it is possible to get out of that rhythm. But you have to have a total balance where it's like it's a push instead of just that bullshit motivation. It's just you got to push with it instead of going back and forth like you're saying.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's you said the word, you gotta have the motivation, but like realistically, it's the awareness. You have to have the
Exactly.
awareness about like,
That's what I said. Motivation is bullshit.
yeah, motivation is bullshit because if you don't, if you're, and I think we even had this conversation. You contacted me a couple years ago. Man, I'm just not that motivated. I'm like, F motivation, bro. Like, dude, just get disciplined. Wake up. Like, believe in yourself. What are you talking? Like, how are you talking to yourself? And
Exactly.
I feel like that's something that is the biggest issue most people have is their self-talk, the self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are they kind to themselves? Like, where do they see themselves? And it's almost kind of like you're like excelling in life sometimes and you've got like this imposter syndrome almost, like you're crushing it at the highest level, right? And everybody potentially is looking up to you now because they're seeing you in a different lens, right? And if you don't change the way that you see yourself, you're going to stay stuck where you were or potentially go backwards because you're living this dream of thinking like, man, I don't deserve this. Like all the success, all this fame, like, or whatever it might be, like, do I deserve this? But like, if you really dig into the core root of the situation, what is your roots in yourself? Like whether we're talking finances, or whether we're talking spiritual, whether we're talking physical, mindset, all your roots play a big play in what your fruits are going to be in regards for tomorrow. And then, and a dad like yourself, George, like, the way that you're marinating, kind of like building your roots strong now and the foundation, it's what your children are going to be seeing. It's where
Exactly.
they're
It's that legacy we leave behind, and without that legacy, I mean, there's nothing else to live for. You're not living for anything to push.
exactly, dude. Exactly. So
And then to push, brother, like we always have to maintain some sort of discipline, and that would be the first question, brother. What is your routine? What is your morning habits that become something that is habitual throughout life?
now one of my biggest things is making sure you're getting proper amount of sleep, making sure that you're getting enough water. I kind of challenged myself here over the last, it's pretty much since the beginning of February. And I did a program called 75 Hard. So you do 2 workouts a day, 45 minutes each one inside, one outside, drink a gallon, no cheat meals, no alcohol. You got to follow a diet, right? And you got to read 10 pages. And so that kind of jump started a lot of things, but I would say a lot of that I was already kind of doing. It just wasn't in a structured can per se. I just finished that up about a week ago and injured my back. But to answer your story or your question, it was a lot of that was the ritual with getting sleep, making sure your water's right. But the morning routine, as soon as I wake up, I'm reading my devotional. And as soon as I literally get out of bed, I'm making my bed. And then I have early bird every single morning. And if you guys have never heard of early bird, send me a message. I can get you like 15% off on that. It's an amazing supplement. It's all natural, coconut bark, electrolytes, green tea, things that are not as bad for you, like energy drinks. Cause I don't like to drink a lot of caffeine. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love my coffee. But when it comes to like energy, stuff like that, stay away from it, because if you have too much caffeine on that spike in the beginning of your morning, you're crashing mid-afternoon. So I'm glad we're talking about the morning routine, because if you get that messed up, it can jack up everything, right? So just get a nice
It's
rhythm.
foundation.
So yeah. So if we kind of just fast forward and compact this together. So making the bed, daily devotional. So make sure you get some prayer in. I journal as much as I can. It's not every day. I need to get on a better habit with that. But daily devotional, pray, water, make the bed, early bird. And then, right now I'm not working out, 14 times a week like I was. I'm doing my best to kind of catch back up on some healing and some recovery from exerting so much energy over the last 100 days. So
Yeah, man. It seems like it's been a program that you've been following. Now, throughout the years, do you think that that program has only evolved, or has there been times where you have dropped the entire routine and you just gone off with day by day, or has it been a constant routine throughout the years?
Last 5 years, man, it's been a really big roller coaster for me. Full transparency. Had some pretty like serious relationships that failed. It kind of just played with my emotional spirit. Um, and just kind of fell off the wagon in regards towards a lot of things with life. So, riding the roller coaster that affected business, which affected, just my overall health. But I would say over the last 2 years, just I've had the opportunity to be a lot more structured and disciplined. Um, you know, I really feel when you're doing the right work in regards towards helping your community, you're helping a lot of people, and you're able to excel with business, and you can actually afford to do more things. It was a lot easier for me to make better decisions to where I could stay on track more. And a lot of people may say like, well, money's not that important, and if people tell me money's not important, it's like, dude, go try to get gas in your car. Money's not important. And if all the rich people are jerks, then like, how are entrepreneurs saving the world? And yeah, I mean, dude,
And I'm
I'm
glad you're
sorry.
touching point on this because I was talking to Mercy about this, or my wife, the other day. Do you believe that there's levels, like where you push yourself so high and you look? It's not that it's fragmental or you're segregating a certain group of people because of the amount of knowledge that they have, but don't you feel like it's like, I'm not going to waste my time on something that I can't enforce because you're not willing to put in that work?
Yeah, I mean, and like that's there to anything that you're doing in this world, you're gonna rise up new levels, and
Exactly, and those people that don't vibrate with you will eventually fall off.
they'll eventually fall
Am I
off.
right?
Yeah, 100%. People will fall off, but the cool thing is as long as you're doing the right inner work, and this is something that I've really unhatched and unlocked over the last year, was the more work I'm doing on the inner version of myself, the better people I'm starting to attract now.
Mm.
Because that was one thing, I used to, because in our business, you do recruit, right? I would literally recruit anybody with a pulse, anybody. I would give anybody and everybody the opportunity just because I believed in people. Like, I have a big heart for serving. I pour love and encouragement into so many people, and too many people were getting it and not wanting to fight for themselves like I was fighting for them. It's like, bro, like, how do you not see this opportunity in front of you? Like, I mean, you could be one guy, but then again, like, and it's not to say that where you're at physically with life, like, it wasn't that you're a bad person. It's
I wasn't
just,
ready. I wasn't ready.
well, maybe that, but then again, maybe your life had to go a different direction to bring you into this. Your life, and that's where, like, now I'm at this place in my life where I go like, okay, let's vibe. Where do you see yourself? Can you see yourself? Why do I need to work with you? I'm way more selective on who I'm working with now. Because I want to work with people that are like driven, they're disciplined, they're really wanting to go after it. People want to go make 3, 4, 5, $600,000 in a year. Like, people want to go crazy, and they're willing to go run through walls with me, and people I can go to war with. Like, that's who I'm looking for. I'm looking for crazy people that love people. But then again, not everybody wants to go and do that. Not everybody is willing to go travel all the time. Not everybody's willing to work 12, 14, 15-hour days. Not everybody's willing to work 7 days a week. But man, and again, your season's your season. It took you to where you're at today, dude. So, like, don't judge where you're at, because your life is taking you down a certain path, and
Exactly.
just and
That's the
embrace.
path we all should take, and I do embrace it. I do feel you there, but most people should do that as well. It's the reminiscing of the past that leaves us in that same cycle, like you were saying. Like, if you continue to live in that cycle, it's going to feed that into that same energy of you continuing that cycle. And I feel you, man. But I do encourage everybody to do that. Absolutely, 100%.
100%. Yeah, and like, it's really interesting to watch people in general, or hearing people communicate as I've risen up through different chapters of my life. And I do, by no means am I there yet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still a student. I'm still reading. I'm still asking questions. I still go to training seminars. I'm still reaching out and learning and reading and like getting obsessed with the things that I want to grow into. Because if I feel like I've got there, what am I really serving? You know what I mean? Like,
Always be willing to learn.
you know, and it's like one thing I love about our company, the slogan's literally humble and hungry. Like, there's multimillionaire people that are still working 6-7 days a week. They don't need to. Like, they could literally retire today and they're in their 20s and their 30s. They don't have to work anymore, but they still show up every single day because it's the brand new guy they're now concerned with. Like, how can I help more people? How can I help more people? How can I help more people in our community that need what we have? Right? I mean, there's people dying every single day right now, and people not having the financial literacy to understand what do they do with their money right now? How do we actually plan for our future if we don't have a plan at all? Right? Yeah, dude, I could take this 700 different directions. So I would recommend, if you want to keep it on track, let's just keep asking some questions.
Do you have a spiritual religion or belief? We kind of answered that question at the beginning. You said you were Christian.
Yeah, Christian for sure.
And has that evolved throughout the years, or does it remain the same?
Yeah, it stayed the same. You know, I would say, you know, and again, that's another thing that you have to keep showing up for, you know, and it's the discipline in the daily situations, and, you know, where you've got to tithe. And a lot of people will say, like, man, tithing is stupid. It's tithing. But like, I've never met somebody that's rich. Like, I've never met somebody who tithes and someone who's actually like doing well successfully that's not satisfied with life. Like, they're usually very grateful people. They're very generous people. They have a soul, like they have a heart. They really love to give. It's not like they're, oh my God, like I got to do this. Like, because when you give, you don't think about it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of interesting. Like, the more I start to tithe into other charities and other foundations and other churches, or just my time that I'm tithing into people, it's so weird how it comes back tenfold every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what you put out is what you're going to receive.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I was wanting to open with religion, brother. Like you were saying, it's something that's ritualistic to you. So you had mentioned something about a lot of like the new era being sort of influenced by demonic influence or some type of attack. I can agree to some of that, but there is certain rituals that I've, not only myself, but other people as well have followed throughout the years of not what we call normal yoga or practices, but it might be something psychological. I wanted to explain this a little bit further so you can comprehend the literacy of what this religion is, or what some cults do. I'm a big theology guy, so I've studied a lot of different religions, especially cults. When it comes to cults, I've found that everything has a beginning and end, or a story in the middle and the end. So they're attempting to cure a person not only emotionally or physically, but psychologically. It's like they're fighting warfare. And what I believe Christianity has found too, and other religions as well, that do center themselves as the one God, where they believe that God is the center of image, meaning that you are an image of God in essence, is that they found the particle, meaning that if you can unlock yourself, or if you can somehow develop yourself to a greater sense, you can not only help your community, but essentially the world. And that's what all of these faiths have done throughout the years. They don't only preach and give the word, but they somehow have healed themselves by figuring out that they are the code, or they are the key, because you are all you need. And if you can love yourself, then you have the potential of loving everyone else. So by explaining that, certain cults do that with fruits or giving of food, where they psychologically heal a person by showing them a different trace. your, like you said, your road cannot be the same as another person, and another person cannot have your road.
Right.
So if that person needs a higher sense of visual, almost like stimulation, then it might be easier for them to release certain energy or certain things in life so that they can heal themselves or utilize their full potential through food or through other things that God has given us. Maybe it's tithing, like you do, like giving to others. That can be some type of healing because you're exposing that onto different people, onto the universe, and it's coming tenfold because you are expressing that energy with, not only because you know you're going to receive it, but because you are doing it out of your heart. And that's what some of these faiths and practices have done as well.
Yeah. And I would say honestly though, the thing you have to be really concerned with is the ideology of objects and cults, where a lot of these cults and situations, it's like, this ring right here is going to heal you.
And see,
like, come on, bro. Like,
that's
no,
not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. And the stone's not, and this isn't, and that's not going to make you feel better. And while we're talking about energy, yeah, like if you're talking about energy, go take off your shoes, go put it in the grass, and just go put your feet in the grass, and that's called energy. Like, you're grounding your energy. I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with like Mother Earth, and like, dude, don't get me wrong. Like, by no means am I sitting here saying I lived a perfect life. I mean, I had a crazy past life, in my early 20s as a nightlife DJ. I've experienced lots of crazy stuff in life. And, I've seen a lot of people, whether we're talking mushrooms, acids, psychedelics, things like this that can unlock portals and channels. Yeah, that can potentially do some healing on you. Ecstasy, it's actually another thing too. It could be a healing too. It's something that you could use to unlock certain areas in your life because of how your body is releasing your serotonin and all the other dopamines inside your body, to where that enhancing thing or that situation is the drug that's releasing that. But that doesn't mean like that's now your religion, that's now your portal, that's now your source, or the ayahuasca, or this and that. And like, I think it's
see, these things were placed on the planet for people to unfold, not for you to continuously use as a drug. And that's where the over excess comes into play. Like, you need a little bit of everything on this planet because it is godly. Everything that is on this world is godly as you are.
I mean, I would say yes. There's a yes and a no.
I'm not idolizing the fact that these fruits are God, but what I'm saying is that God created the fruit and it's somewhat godly. What do you become when you become dirt? You become soil and fertilizer.
But then again, like,
what do you become?
I'm honestly curious though. Did God actually invent those situations? Like,
what came first, the chicken or the egg? It's an incorporated thing that we try to find.
It's kind of like all the crap that's happening in today's society, or what's been happening in the last couple hundred years, like weather modification and like, and me personally, I think he's been sent to our generation from hell, like from the gates of hell. I'm pretty confident Bill Gates came from hell to fuck with our entire life. And
this guy said Bill Gates.
I mean, he's burning down farms. He's putting up climate cooling things to make it cooler in the world. Like, no, bro, you're pumping chemicals that are killing us. Like, what? Like, this type of stuff, like, where we're trying to play God, right? And like you said, like, we were made in the image of God, sure, but the problem is there's too many people on this earth right now trying to play God. Like, you're a fucking human. Excuse my language, but you're a human.
See, but that's the concept of ideology. You're idolizing yourself. But once you remove that cloak of knowing that the true potential is accepting your bullshit, then that cloak is removed, and then you are, in one sense, pure, like God. I'm not saying that you are the Almighty or you have the power of Keen to heal everything. No. What I'm saying is that you are the God of your own reality. You are the God of Creator to create your future. But most people misinterpret that and say, okay, I am God. I have all potential. I am the like
No,
this guy. What's his
not.
name? The top G, Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, that fool. Like, come on, man. Like, how
I do.
far off are you?
I'll disagree with you, man. Like if you listen to a lot of his message, okay, and there's a lot of things that the media take his long clips and put him into short clips to make him look like he's some misogynist terrorist that just fucks chicks and kicks him to the curb. But like, let's be honest with you. How many women in this earth right now running around with their wounded masculine energy is running around like a bunch of dudes 30 years ago, a bunch of playboy, like the roles are flipped around, but like,
But that's none of my concern, though. That's the thing, that the ideology of the old age is criticize the one against you.
We need to bring traditionalism back. Like,
have you heard of the saying, "Don't judge the hay on your neighbor's eye if you haven't looked at the trunk coming out of yours"?
No, I've never heard that.
Okay, so what it means is you're judging somebody's small little fuzz on their eyeball, right? But you don't see the big stump coming out of your eye. So it's like we usually tend to criticize others' lives when our trunk or our faults are at highest. Mm-hmm. So like I stay away from like getting into others' religion, right? I like to know what your beliefs are. But when I say I want to question, you're a Christian, you shouldn't be a Christian, because that's diabolic. You know, it's out of this world. Yeah. Then that comes into play with the whole abortion thing. Like, it is not my right to say
you can or you can't.
You can or you can't. That is your body. You should do it to yourself if you decide to. That is you. That is who you are.
I agree. And like, but that's the thing. Like, to finish what you're saying is like, where I feel a lot of people take the message the wrong way. Like if you listen to a lot of Tate stuff, go respect women, go fight for them, go die for them, treat them right, go work out, go make a bunch of money, go get rich, believe in yourself, go invest into things, believe in yourself, stand up for yourself, don't stay depressed, go work out, don't be fat, don't be lazy. God, like he even says, like I saw this in a video the other day, God hates lazy people. God hates lazy people.
Because see that you can't absorb something that's being taught out of faith.
Think about that.
Because the meaning can mean so many things from your perspective.
Would you agree with me? Yes or no?
I can't agree to that statement. I can't agree to that statement because it's your vision. It's your
think
perspective.
God loves lazy people?
I don't believe in God or the devil, so I can't say. You know, that's my perspective. I believe in a balance where Earth is, Mother Earth is our giver. I believe in a total balance of nature, meaning that everything comes from Earth, but we have to give back to our community, which is our people. That is my belief. I don't have a belief of God or belief of the devil. I believe in nothing but nature.
It's a big.
I'm not saying I don't praise crystals or rocks or anything either. It's more of me. I put my bullshit up and I said I own it, and that's
I'm not knocking on people if you believe your little crystal of Himalayan salt or shorts is gonna go solve your cancer. But if that's what you believe and that's what you believe, I hope it works.
Bro, what I wanted to get to with that is like the whole Andrew Tate. I'm not saying he's a misogynist, but I don't believe in the fact that you can say a parable and say that is a saying to heal or motivate, because when you're putting the context of faith, of religion, it can portray it carries a lot of connotations, whether if it be positive or negative, right? So I'm not saying that can be contradicting, but at the same time, you can't inspire people by showing them a faith. You can inspire people by changing yourself, right? And that's where I don't agree with that. Yes, lazy people don't fucking get nowhere. I agree with that. But who the fuck do I care if God believes in that or not? I'm going to live my life today and I'm going to be a better person tomorrow, but the fuck I care if the devil believes it or not. I believe that's wrong. That's it.
Okay. And again, like most people, if you're free thinking enough, you can go, okay, well, that's where you stand. But it's not my job or my duty to say, hey, George, believe in what I believe in because it saved my life. Like, dude, thing is like I could walk you. It's like they say, bring a horse to water, but I'm not gonna try to salt your oats, dude. Like when
Exactly.
the time comes, you'll come back. When the when
He
no
said
and
he'll come back like I'm on the other side. Yeah, man. Save me a
no
spot in hell. That is, on the
no
highway to hell.
I don't
I'll
mean
be
like
right
that.
there with you.
I don't mean like that, but like the reason I'm saying it, and you may or you may not, but like I'm a very firm believer. Like if you die, right, and you've read your Bible, you've gotten baptized, you're a firm believer in Christ, you have a place in heaven. Otherwise, like I don't want to go in hell, bro. Like we're already in enough hell in America right now as it is. I don't want to go someplace worse than this. And at the end of the day, like in my early 20s, I wasn't walking with God. I grew up getting kind of force fed religion or going to Orthodox this and this and that and the other. And then like I kind of had a bad mix with what they call as religion. I was like in high school at a Wednesday, like, you know, teen night thing for like at a normal church there. And this lady, a chaperone, came up and she said, "You're going to hell, boy." And I was like, what? Because I had long hair, like down to here. I lived in Missouri at the time. I had big baggy jeans because I skateboarded and I rollerbladed, and I had a skate shirt on with like it was probably like a Green Day shirt with like, and it said Dookie on it or something. I don't know. Like, because I played in bands, I played music, I skateboarded and I surfed. Like that's all I did when I was a kid. And I moved to Missouri, a little town. This lady's like, "You're going to hell." And ever since then, I stopped going to church. And then I started kind of dabbling back into it through high school. I pushed myself going through college, and then, fell off the wagon. Graduated being a master tech, partied my ass off throughout my 20s. Anything under the sun went. And, I found a lot of healing from traumatic things that I've happened through life, right? And I ran from God throughout my 20s, like as hard as I could. If someone said, "Oh my God," and I'm like, no, I create this world. This is me. No, that's my ego talking, right? And I would always tell myself, like, I don't need God. I don't need God. I don't need that. And then, like, the more I would push it away, it's like my life is still going. I'm still getting these blessings. I'm still getting this. I'm still getting that. But I was still never getting like the peace, the breakthrough in my heart. Like I was getting outerly world success, but like in my heart, I felt shitty.
Mm-hmm.
And now in my 30s, and now I'm like really working on the inner stuff, it's a different level of my life that I'm at now. And like, I don't judge people for where you're at. And, I think we have to go through certain seasons in our life to appreciate what it is that God does have. And until we go and experience, it's like you've probably been in that situation where maybe some adversity happened. You lost a job. Maybe someone you were dating broke up with you, or you got in trouble with the law, or something happens, right? And you have time to process and think about where your life is going, right? And the only way that we can make that difference in the change is by being what? In the adversity. Like,
Yep.
you don't grow from
into the
success. Like,
Exactly.
if it's all smooth sailing, like, oh, I don't experience anything hard in life, like, you don't get much further. Like, how often have you heard about these trust fund kids, right? And God bless their soul, that they had great parents, great grandparents, and they were able to get given a lot of things. But then they blow through their trust fund, they become entitled, they become arrogant little pricks, and they don't appreciate life until it smacks them so hard in the face that they have to go get a job and actually do what normal people do. And then they realize, like, man, this is what life's all about. Like, man, I appreciate my friends now a lot more that have been working their ass off since they were 8 years old. Like, I grew
Yeah,
up
man.
freaking, dude, like eating boxes of macaroni and cheese and hot dogs for an entire summer, bro. Like I I I went from the depths of crap, and I can appreciate situations like where the seasons I'm in now, and by no means do I feel like am I there yet, Have I been
Well,
able to really.
you shouldn't
Yeah.
feel that way because, like you said, that's ego. Once you feel like you've met a destination, or once you feel like you have a title, or that you secure your faith, it's like you feel entitled to that given. Like, I'm going to receive because I've been good. I'm going to receive because I am going to receive because I've always received, and that is the fault of a lot of this generation, and not only like you were saying, like the people that we meet throughout the years, but there's a lot of this newer generation that doesn't know the grit. They've never been through an actual hustle. They've never actually grinded their fucking body off. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's
Or
a blessing to feel and struggle. Like you said,
and
man, if you don't have that adversity, you're not going to be nobody.
exactly. And then to add that on top, the entitlement that they have and all the information, they're basically getting programmed from Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and whatever news channel you're on. So it's literally like, "Oh my god, I hate Joe Biden," or "Oh my god, I hate Donald Trump." Like, dude, and if you really break it all down, like you said, you brought it up a couple times, Andrew Tate. People that like him, people that don't. They're literally trying to pin anything and everything in our country against each other to find something wrong with each other.
But that's the subliminal message. They're trying to compete with you and have you in this motion where you got to look at this, you got to see this right now. If you don't look at it, you're going to miss it. If you don't talk about it, you're not important.
So to go back 30 seconds, what I'm trying to nail on this, if I could, doesn't matter what you believe in. Everybody collectively just needs to get along better. Everybody collectively needs to stop it with the bullshit. Drop the hate, drop the nonsense. Doesn't matter when, where, and how you come from. Respect the people you're next to. Respect thy neighbor, right? I mean, where is that from? The Bible. Why is it that we want to respect the neighbor and our women and the moms and the dads? Why do we respect our elders? But that's something in this generation a lot of people don't do. Or how about this? How often do you see a guy and a girl walking towards a car and the guy gets straight into his car and the chick is there just like, "Bro, are you serious? Are you going to open up my door?" Like, but this is the problem because most men nowadays, I hate to say it this way, they're not forward thinking enough about the bad shit that can happen. And this is
It's
why
the awareness. It's the awareness.
this is why
There's not enough
dude,
awareness.
I literally have my gun sitting right here on my desk, and I've got one in multiple rooms in my house because I am prepared for shit to go off. Because if someone comes up and I'm going to open up the door for my mom, I'm going to open up the door for my girl. Why? Because if I'm in the car, someone robs her, stabs her, and I could have controlled that from happening, I'm at fault now. And I've got to live with that for the rest of my life. So the women in my life, they're going to stay protected. I'm going to fight for them. My kids, I'm going to fight for them when I have them, but how many men nowadays have enough balls to even say, "I'm going to protect the people in my corner. I'm going to fight for the people in my corner. I'm willing to get punched in the face. I may not lose, I may not win this fight, but I'm going to go down fighting." Right? Problem is you got too many of these soy boys running around here, and no offense to people that eat soy, because I love my veggie burgers, but that shit is not good for us. But where is it getting made and processed from? Bill Gates and all these other people that are politicianal power players, because they want us to become more feminine men, and they want our women to become more masculine. Because if the country comes down fighting, when's the last time you ever had someone's breaking into your house? Who do you call? The crackhead, or you call the cops?
I deal with it.
Or you deal with it because why? You're a man.
Because exactly,
and you're here to protect your family. Right. Now, what I'm trying to get at is how many people, like a lot of these chicks, man, this has gone in a totally different direction, I'm sure. But a lot of these chicks,
this man,
a lot of these chicks nowadays, I don't need a man. Yeah, until your car breaks down. Until
You
that
never
light
know,
bulb.
man. And that's kind of naive. I'm gonna cut you there, but that's kind of naive because you can't criticize the entire herd
Oh,
by
I'm not saying all
our
of them. I'm
lower
saying
programming.
a large majority of people in this
Exactly.
generation.
But you can't criticize the entire generation by what you've seen throughout your experience. You
Oh,
can't say that
but
this
it's
woman is not
evolving.
self-skilled.
It's
A lot
evolving.
of
But
the women that are great of value will always push for help, bro. So if like there's someone that shows value, like a value woman, will always try to help you in some way or form, whether it's to pursue a higher career for you or to push you to continue. We underestimate women a lot. Honestly, we underestimate women a lot, and I can agree with that.
I don't.
That
I
there's the
I don't at all.
masculinity might be lost, but when you both meet in center with masculinity and femininity, it's like a balance, you know. If you
The yin
I'm
and
not
the
saying to
yang.
become feminine, yeah, exactly, but don't become feminine to the point where you're changing your appearance, you
Yeah,
know. Be humble, you know,
men
show
and
yourself.
women,
You're exactly
men and
be,
women
be
both have it though. Like it's just
have the
you gotta.
balls to cry, you know. That's a man. Have the balls to
Hell
say
yeah,
I love you to another person in front
exactly,
of
dude.
everybody.
Yeah,
That's a man. And the
I mean
difference between
that reminds me of conversations we had. You crying on my
exactly,
shoulder. I'm like, I got you, bro. I love you, dude. It's all good, man. Like that's
exactly.
life though. Like, are you secure enough as a man to hold another man to be like, bro, it's okay, cry it out, dog. Like that's what I'm here for. Or, like we're homies, bro. Like no weird stuff, but like you've got to be strong enough in your will. But at the same point, like, and dude, there's plenty of these alpha chicks running around here, and God bless your soul, because like you crush it in life. But like when you come home, allow yourself to get like calm down, allow yourself to get into that feminine groove so your man can actually lead, but like give him that respect, and then men like give that respect back. But like in regards towards this whole situation, like this all breaks down to spirits. This all breaks down to inner wounded energies. Like, and
Exactly.
if you understand it, there's an amazing book you should check out if you haven't read it yet. It's called Entering Her Vortex. It talks about
Entering her vortex.
yeah,
By who?
it's about Jay Malik. It's a little red, like it's like 80-90 pages, dude. It's super easy read, but literally,
Jay Malik.
yeah, Malik, Malik. You can get it on Amazon. It's great. It's literally like 100-page read. And that literally breaks it down, like what happens in our world, right? Men that, and it's like you've probably seen the cycle, right? Nice guy meets bitch, bitch turns him into an asshole meets nice girl, turns her into a bitch, etc., right? And then the world just goes around. But what I'm suggesting, like this is going towards men and women, why can't we break that cycle? Why can't we be the difference? Why can't we just stop the cycle? Just because we're hurt doesn't mean we have to continue. Hurt people, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
and I got ran over by that multiple times. But I made the conscious decision saying it's not happening anymore. I'm healing inside. And once you start to do that, then you start to uncover like, okay, here's the roots. That's what's causing this energy. Okay, how do I fix this? Trace it back up, go to therapy, talk to someone, journal, talk to a good friend. Like, and that's the thing where for me, through the therapy, through the journaling, through having connections with some good friends, through my faith, through going through church, through singing at the top of my lungs with praise music, listening to those same exact songs without the lyrics, and it's just the instrumentals. Like these are things that help me throughout the day. And I'm not saying like that's going to be the same thing for everybody, but like, dude, we're all human. Like at the end of the day, like let's just be the best version of ourselves every single day and give the world back the best version we have. And we're not always going to agree with each other.
Exactly.
We're not always going to have that opportunity, but we have the conscious decision here to listen, to communicate, to love. And you don't necessarily always have to be right, you know? So
Yeah, man. It and even like looking at the past experiences that you've had with faith, do you believe that that's incorporated into your routine as reinforcing it, or has it drawn back? Like when you incorporate certain days where you go to church or you don't go to church, do you feel like your day goes at a smoother pace, The reason I ask is because usually people tend to say that they have some type of meditation or a meditative state where they pray or sit down with themselves, which you do. Do you find that that has evolved throughout the years or changed throughout the years?
I think it's just the difference of doing it. Now it's just more natural. It's like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and pray. Or it's like literally right before I got on here, I prayed. Like allow me to be a beacon and allow my words to come out smoothly to hopefully connect with people that maybe went through similar struggles. And like, because that's my big thing. It's like I want my message. I always want to communicate to where I can connect and give hope and give inspiration.
Absolutely.
and give a reinforcement, because we've all gone through life. It's like, I mean, we've been through heartbreak, we've been through financial hardship. Everybody's gone through something. you know Maybe it's not having a real dad, maybe it's not having a real mom, maybe it's sexual abuse, maybe it's drug addiction, maybe it's suicide. Like, I've experienced all of it in my lifetime, and it hasn't been easy, but being able to overcome that. And that's where, I can't take all the blame for it, I can't even take credit for it, but like, I've been actually making the decisions, but I'm confident knowing that, like, I have a reason why I want to stop. Why do I want to stop? Because in the Bible it talks about a lot of key things. It might talk about a lot of wine, but it also talks a lot about sobriety, right? It
Yeah, man.
talks a
I've never
lot
read it.
about that.
Never read the Bible.
Yeah. I mean, you've probably heard enough verses. I know you have, because we've had lots of discussion over prayers and stuff back in the day. You may have blocked it out in your life. I get it. But and again, dude, I'm not going to be the one here to force you into it. I'm not gonna. Like, that's just not who I am. That's not who I've ever been. And I really feel, because the more and more you pressure someone into it, the more and more they're going to run from it. So it's like, be the difference. It's like you said it earlier, be the difference. People noticing the change, right? Like, I literally had multiple people reach out to me recently, and they were like, Jesse, let's go do this and that. Or one of my friends from back in the day said, Jesse, when are we going to go party? And I was like, bro, I don't party. Like, what am I celebrating? Like, I want to go hang out with a bunch of losers that don't have goals and aspirations at the club. Like I used to be that loser. It's like, what am I celebrating? Being broke? Like, while the guy putting on this, like, my thought process is, how do I own this club to give you guys the opportunity, because that's how I get paid. Like,
Now
I
take
run
that
business.
take that negative and make it into a positive. What could you do that with that statement that you just said? If you go to the club, you see nothing but what? But losers. Now, if you're trying to help your community, that's exactly what I did. I took my snakes into the reptile, to the club, and it's just work. Constant talking, 30 people coming in and out, 30 coming out.
It's so cool.
And by the time I'm out,
you put that
and
snake on me, I might crap my pants. So I'm just
and they're telling me like, hey, let's go have some shots, or let's go drink, or let's go do this. I'm like, I'm tired, bro. Like, this is my job. Like, I have some animals to go feed. Like, I have shit to clean. Like, as soon as I leave, wherever I leave, it's my animals first. I can't just leave them and go do whatever the fuck I want. But that's the amount they amalgamated to some type of discipline in my life, caring for something higher than my consciousness, making myself humble enough to say I can care for these animals because they're greater than my own potential. If you see that into an animal, like your cats, they've healed you a lot. They've helped you through those rough spots.
I love my cats. Yeah, because that's the thing. I mean, I really feel, doesn't matter what type of animal it has. Every animal has a certain type of energy on it. And this is something you've probably seen, like dogs will do it. They've got their little like, their little like hum that they have. Cats will do the purring and they make the muffins on you. Like, that's their way of showing endearment, and
or bringing you dead birds.
I don't let Dasher outside, so he brings me little stuffed toy baby things, and he'll start making his like his little chirp,
Yeah,
on.
we just
What you
got a
got,
Maine
Dash?
Coon. We just got a
Oh,
Maine Coon cat like 2-3
so
weeks ago
so
for
he looks
Mother's
like
Day.
Buzz.
Yeah, let me bring him out.
Nice, dude.
I think Mercy has him in the other room.
Yeah, Dasher's passed out in his little kitty condo.
Yeah, Sophie goes out once in a while, but she doesn't leave the court, and she'll stay out here and then come back in, but she won't stay out there all day, for a little bit. But she has brought us dead birds before. I'm not sure if
That's
they were dead or she killed them.
Oh, she killed him. Yeah, that cats are cool like that. They'll if they bring you back a gift, that means that they love you. You know, they're showing, hey, bro, I can hold my own.
Yeah.
You feed me, I got you too, bro. Yeah, man. I mean, it's pretty cool to see the evolution and the journey, and I'm proud to see like what you've been able to do because there's a lot that I think you can do when it comes to the animals and incorporating that into businesses, whether you're talking fairs or music festivals, artistry, music videos, like actual TV shows. And you've got a big passion for it. So dude, keep running with it,
Absolutely, brother.
keep
Absolutely.
running with it. And that's the biggest thing. If I could touch on whatever you want to do in this life, like think for yourself and go after it, right? Nobody told you years ago. Like I would have been like, George, are you crazy? You're gonna go play with a bunch of lizards and stuff? But like seriously? But like that's what you like. And you've made it a passion. It's something you genuinely enjoy. And that right there, it becomes seamless. It doesn't feel like work now. And that's one of the things that I honestly love. It's like there's gonna be some when it comes to entrepreneurship, this is one thing we always have to remember. Okay. And this is what a lot of people always forget when times get hard. When you sign up for leaving your W-2 job for that security, you sign up for that potential goal to hopefully make a lot of money, or you got time and energy and effort that you can have with your friends, family, and whatever, that freedom.
You don't have to leave that W-2. Just saying, FYI, you can do both.
You can do both. But a lot of the times people, in some cases, they only think about the time, the energy, the money. They see like the business owners because they figured out the tax codes and how they're layering their business trust and their personal trust that they can go and buy $150,000 car and they don't have to pay for it. And they're not paying very much taxes. And then we look at them like they're bad people. But in reality, like they just figured out the secret. But the one thing we're always forgetting is all that risk and all those bad days, right? And when it comes to starting your business, many people, you don't see, most businesses aren't thriving till like statistically, like between year 5 and 7. So,
and even then, there's still some type of backtrack going on, whether it's marketing or any type of fuse coming in.
Exactly. And so that's where it's really like if you're starting a new business, you're getting into financial services, you're selling snakes like Georgia, you're starting to do content creation, like just don't give up, man. Like if you're breaking even and you're cracking it, you're breaking even and you're starting to get a little bit more positive, just keep going, keep going, keep going, because it might take till year 3 or 4. Like for me in the insurance industry, it was right around like year 3.5 where it was like, oh my God, like I've learned, I'm now at a company that's actually legit. Like we've got leads, we can actually help lots of people doing this. And my income,
It's crazy the amount of level that you're saying, the 4 years, it takes 4 years for you to breed a snake. So if you purchase a snake as a baby, learning experience, you're learning the curve, you're learning how to keep it, how to keep the humidity levels and all that. On the 4th year, when you decide to breed, then you can make your money back. But until then, you're learning the steps by steps, and you're not making shit for 5-6 years until they decide to breed, and those are the hard steps. That's what keeps you rolling.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, remember you signed up for what happens when you've got your fruit, and you signed up for the bad stuff. But you have to remember to keep your emotions out of it. That keeps you level, right? So
Boy, that's the hard part to crack. Emotions.
yeah. And dude, everyone's got them, right? But and that's where I really feel, you know, a morning routine that I have too is getting into the gym, right? Like as soon as you wake up, go walk, go exercise, go lift a heavy weight as fast as possible. Because if you could go and start smashing weight and you get the heaviest part out of your day, dealing with those really painful conversations with clients or whatever you've got going on throughout your business, whether it's even personal, maybe it's your lady, maybe it's your kids, maybe it's something in your life that's really 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 difficult. That one situation right there is maybe not as difficult now because you listen to that podcast in the morning that unlocks something
The
and you're
Spirit
hitting your
Animal
weights.
podcast.
Yeah.
And then you hit the
And
weights.
you're listening to the Spirit Animal podcast with George the Jungle, and you're hitting those heavy weights, and now you're setting a new PR because you're keeping track of your numbers. And the way to keep your emotions out of it is by tracking your progress. So many people, they don't have any idea, and they never think that they're getting anywhere, right? Because they never take daily stats. You're not tracking your daily numbers. You're not tracking, and so many people are going to say, like let's say we'll use this as fitness, right? Don't weigh yourself every day. Yeah, cuz weighing yourself every day can actually mess with your mind, right? But take a picture every single day. So um we'll flip it another way. Let's say you're running a sales company, right? How many people are you contacting every day? How many dials? How many people are actually contacts? Are they real people? How many prospects? How many appointments did you set? How many presentations did you do? Once you got into your presentation, how many closes are you getting? And how much dollars are you converting out of that? And then if you track all those numbers every single day, at the end of the week, you go, okay, high, low, high, low. I did a lot here because I had follow-up, boom, boom, boom. Okay, now I understand my flow. But if you don't know what your flow is and you actually have a big goal, right? So George, let me ask you a question. If you had an opportunity, like financially, what's a dollar amount you have as a goal?
Dollar amount?
Yeah.
Weekly, monthly, yearly,
Just
a
say
5-year plan?
monthly. Let's say 30
Month.
day
78 to 11,000.
100 or 1,000.
7,800.
78,000.
7,800 to 11 monthly.
Okay, so let's say 10 grand, right? Okay, so 10,000. We'll just say 10,000. Okay, and then we do 10,000.
Oh, my camera just died, brother. Give me 1 second.
I'll just keep talking then.
Go ahead.
Let's say it's $10,000 per month. That's $333 a day. Okay, so whatever you're selling, what can we do to sell and make $300 30 days a month? That's it. Like, let's say you've got an item, right? $333 a day. Okay, so let's say your items are $50, right? So let's divide that by $50. I have to sell 6.7 items of what I want to do.
2 enclosures. Sell 2 enclosures a week, making 600, doubling on that. Just depends, man. Depends what you're selling. And you, like you said, you have to get that closing ratio down. You have to get the ratios of whether you're making enough to break that week. And if you don't make it, then you have to lower it down. Just because you lower your goal, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get there eventually. But like you're saying, man, those small steps of knowing your closing ratio, knowing the ratios of where you're at,
tracking your numbers,
it takes you it takes you a long way, man. It does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of just where I'm getting at. But like when you incorporate that to your daily routines, your spiritual habits, like I really just call it your hygiene. Like what is your hygiene? Like, do you have good hygiene, like physically? Do you have good oral hygiene? Do you have good spiritual hygiene? Do you have good finance hygiene? Do you have good health hygiene? Like everything that you do in this world all revolves around, is it smell good or does it smell bad?
If it smells good, it feels good, it's prime time.
Oh, You telling me, bro? Like feel good, look good, smell good. It stays prime time, baby. Like that's been the motto. It always will be the motto. And I just feel like full force ahead. It's like lions may not smell very good, but like think about how calculated they are when it comes to movements. Think about how cats
Absolutely.
are, right? Very intelligent animals, and they move at the right time. Like you've seen it happen, like where a lion's just sitting there and you got like 12 hyenas and then a lion just comes up and whap, and grabs a gazelle. You know, like that's the fierce and the intensity where you just got to run through walls. Like, how are you charging through life? Are you getting hit by it or are you charging back? You know, and man, I could dive into a lot of this. And when we're talking about the spirituality side of an animal, it's like really what are you going to incorporate yourself the most potentially with? A lot of people have asked me in my past, like, what do you connect most with? I'm like, eagles, sharks, lions. Why those specific things? I'm like, they're calculated.
And do you feel like you've had an evolution with those animals? Like now that you mentioned that, and that was a couple questions down, but since you're mentioning, man, like, do you happen to have an evolution where it's like process, where it's like, I feel like an eagle today and then tomorrow I'm a lion? Or is it a state of consciousness where you feel like that in a moment with a group of people and then out of nowhere you're in a relaxed state you might resemble with another animal?
I think you nailed it on the head. It does depend on the day. Because some days, like, like if you think about what lions are, they're usually in a pack, right? Or it'll be like the male and then all the females, right? The
Yeah.
lion and the lioness. A lot of times you see an eagle. Do you ever see eagles with like 5 other eagles?
They're lone soldiers, brother.
Yeah, bro. And there's a lot of days where like I literally want to sometimes just go like I just want to put my blinders on. I don't want to be bothered. Like I want to just go full force. Like don't talk to me, bro. Like I just need to go kill it today. And some days you're like that. And I don't mean this to be a jerk, but like some days you have to be selfish because nobody's coming to save you. No one's going to save your life. No one's coming to give you the handout. Most people aren't spoon fed. Most people don't have that favor. And if you do, great. You maybe have a really
Exactly.
good circle, but I didn't have those handouts, but I worked my ass off. And now potentially because I worked hard, there might be more favor happening. Thank God, and like, I don't give glory to myself. I don't say like, oh, it's because I'm special or it's because I work my ass off. Like I work my ass off, but I also say, I really feel like God's placed me in the right position. It's connected me with the right people. I've been able to be fortunate enough to have certain conversations or to be vulnerable with certain people to where now they say, Jesse, I'm going to bring you on the ride. Like, I got you, bro. And it's a different situation where now it went from me being the eagle or being a shark, fierce, just full force. And like, I'll be honest, there's been a lot of times where I felt like a rhino, like reckless. My 20s, dude, a full force rhino, dude. Like, just like this, smash wall, boom, 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 like carnage. Ended up in the hospital multiple times. Like, it was bad, but like, eventually you got to slow down. And then I felt like as I've been in my 30s for majority of the part, it's been like very cat-like. It's been very, fierce. It's been very fast-paced, to where, I do have my moments. Don't get me wrong. Like if I need to sleep, bro, I'm getting my sleep and like lazy ass like a cat. But I don't like sleeping. I feel like this world, this life, it's too precious. It's too special. It's already short enough. Like we literally have 100 years. We literally have 100 years on this earth. And if you think about what that means, like it is precious. Like this conversation's been solid, but like think about how much time, energy, and effort or like where else you could be utilizing your time, right? And this is something that so many people take for granted. They stay and I'm not speaking like I'm Mr. Perfect because I was there, right? Fighting through those seasons of becoming fierce, right? talking
Well,
in the vulnerable.
it's wanting to change. You know, like you said, it's the evolutionary process. Everybody has it, and if you are not willing to evolve, then it's not going to happen.
Right.
But everybody has that catalyst, and like you were saying earlier, it's whether it's emotional or the loss of love or loss of a family member, or you get into trouble with a law. Like there's some type of catalyst that's going to push you to that max where you're going to figure out that whether if it's God that helps you throughout your days or whether if it's just yourself and breathing and calming your emotions down and knowing how to tone that down, that might be something that heals you, something that helps you. Everybody has their medicine that makes them feel happy. And I'm glad that you mentioned earlier about drugs, saying that, you know, ayahuasca and all this shit can help you to elevate that state. But to actually elevate that state with your body or yourself, that is what I consider yoga, where you have the ability to actually rise and feel in that elevated bliss state without consuming anything, you know, because you have now consumed yourself. You have, you know, been praying or you've been talking to God. That might be the same reflection because in that, in essence, you believe that He talks back to you, right?
Of course.
Exactly. So there's some type
like-
of communication.
But then the thing too, it's like sometimes people think like when they hear God, it's literally like us having a conversation like this. No, it's like literally like you're like walking down the street and then you're thinking, right? But it's almost like I feel like sometimes like I'm almost like I tap into a portal myself. Like you just like something unlocks and it's like take a left, go right, go over here, call this person. You're like, what? Okay. And I'm gonna call this person, be like, what's up, bro? Like, hey, dude, I need you to come over today. I got this big deal for. Okay, like, what? I don't get it. And the next thing you know, you're in another city, another state. You're doing this and that and the other, and then you're on a private jet with someone else, and you're like, I have no idea what's going on. Like, this literally feels like a movie. How am I here? But literally, if you're aware of what's going on, of your consciousness, and I think that's really important. I feel a lot of people aren't spiritually aware enough, or they're not listening enough, or they think they're listening. But, you know, you got to remember, like, there's a lot of stuff that's going to psych you out and talk you out of going for it, right?
Exactly.
I mean, relationships.
And most of it is our mind because we found all these beliefs because of
90%.
it's our mind. So if you can, that's what yoga teaches, and most people think it's just rocks and hugging and sitting down and kumbaya, but it's not. It's getting down to the nitty gritty and accepting your bullshit and saying, this is what I'm doing wrong today, and I'm going to figure it out by moving my body in a certain way so that energy can release and that I can evolve and maybe help somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And when you achieve that bliss state, like you're saying, you achieve that bliss state where you can have that conversation with yourself because you know that's your voice, then that's God, right? But when we're saying, I want to go here, but then I don't know if I can make up my mind because I need to go with Jesse, but I need to be in this company and I need to finish my dreams or I need to do this, then that's not your voice, right? Because it's like fluctuating everywhere.
And that's another thing too. Like as a man, I would say one of your biggest strengths that you can have is by being able to make a decision quick.
Exactly.
And the thing is like so many people get stuck in this situation of not being able to make a decision for themselves, not being a free thinker enough. And I was talking to a very close friend of mine just earlier today, and she asked me like, or we were kind of going back and forth. What's one of the hardest mistakes you've learned from or something like that? Or what's the biggest mistake you've had? And I was like, honestly, there's never been a bad one. Like, or what's the worst decision you've ever made? I think it was the question, right? And I was honestly like thinking, none. There's never been a time in my life where I've made an absolutely horrible decision. And we might always go like, that's a pompous dude. Like, what a prick thinking he can act like that. Like, what an Andrew Tate. Well, the reason why I say that is because, like, I either win, right? Because I made a decision quick and I didn't delay, or I fucked up royally and I learned. So either way, I'm still winning.
Yeah.
Now,
you lose when you don't do shit.
Yeah. And if I lose, guess what? I figured out something like this doesn't work. I can't trust this person. This doesn't work. I can't make that decision. And instead of thinking about it, what's the worst decision? Why don't we just say, like, what's the best learning example? What's the biggest thing that's taught me something? And every time, like, you think you get there, it's something new. It's something new. It's something new. It's something new. And the thing is like where I'm talking about earlier about being lazy is if you're not going out and getting after it, like, no offense to people that work at Taco Bell, you know, because I used to do it, but like, there's more potential in your body. Like, you weren't born to flip cheeseburgers, dog. Like, you were born to have like the max amount of potential. There's zero cap. And this is coming from a guy that was in special ed classes till his junior year of high school, basically dropped out. Like, should have been a statistic, you know, of where I'm at in life, but I didn't accept that. I said, no, that's not who I am. That's not that. Don't identify me by these labels. That doesn't make me, you know, those situations that happened in my past aren't me today. And I remember this was something we used to talk about all the time.
Yeah. Jesse was the last Brown.
Your past isn't your present of who you are today, bro. And what's so cool, if like whoever's hearing this on the other end, if this can give you any inspiration, like the darkest hours are that you're living in right now. And a reason I want to talk about it is because like men's suicide's through the roof right now.
Mental awareness.
And just be mentally aware. Like if you're struggling there, my Instagram's right here, bro. Like, let's get you out of that funk because life is too short. Right. And the thing is this world is so precious, but you have so much potential, and your adversity that you're going through is going to be someone's testimony, a breakthrough that's changing an entire community. So like, just remember, like when it's you going through the stuff, think about someone going through something so much worse. And like, I had someone call me the other day, like, oh my God, my life's so bad. I'm like, what happened? I got a flat tire. I'm like,
what? It's the entitlement, man. It's the entitlement of this era. Like it's.
And I hung up the phone and I called them back and I said, hey, just wanted to check. Do you have cancer? Is your mom dying? Is your dad dying? Are your kids good? Are your animals good? All right, cool. You got AAA? You got flat tire. Okay, cool. First world problems. Someone's going to come fix your car in a minute. Hang up the phone. And like, am I a dick for saying that? But it's literally like, this is why I love Sean Mike, our CEO. Have some respect for yourself and get to work, because too many people need our help. And like, while we stay lazy, sleeping in, and not giving yourself to the world, the best version of yourself to the world, you're not doing yourself, you're not doing your spiritual aboundment, whether it's God or whatever you want to believe in. But to me personally, you're disrespecting God by not doing your all, by not giving your all, by not waking up and being a positive person, being someone that can be inspirational, right?
The amount, or it's almost blasphemous to say, but like, can you imagine like thousands of possibilities for somebody else to have your shoes, you know, but you were the one who was chosen to be birthed into this world.
Dude, it's literally me against 4 trillion other, like I had 4 trillion enemies and I made it here.
Exactly.
So
you were the sperm that survived.
Yeah.
The possibilities were immense, but
yeah,
we're still, you know, being lazy and sticking with our old habits and not wanting to change.
And this is tying in. So like, I'm going to Vegas this week to do a sales training conference, talking about simple retirement solutions. And part of my topic is dropping bad habits, right? Because drinking, used to do that. Used to vape, drop that.
I still vape. I don't drink like you anymore, but man, this guy used to pull out a bottle of vodka from his car before we would close the deal.
That's not true. The vodka came after the close. And then we would go to the cigar lounge and be degenerates when I was broke as hell. And I didn't have money, but I was balling like I was, right? But the thing is like we go through these syndromes in life where we got to keep up with the Joneses and look so cool with everybody. Like, no, dude, live at your own means, save. And people are going to say save money, right? No, but like live under your means and invest. So then once you start investing, when you want to go buy stuff, you've got something cash flowing that's going to pay for the stuff you want. Like, you want to go buy a $10,000 watch, go find something that's going to be able to create $10,000 of passive income that you could go ahead and flip that into some more passive income. So then you go buy a $10,000 watch. Like, come on, bro. Like, you want $10,000 in income, go make $300 a day. That's easy.
Yep.
You know, easy, bro. Like, I mean, and when you're talking $10,000 a month, that's $120,000 a year. Like, there's 365 days in the year, right? I mean, the capacity of what you think you can make, like, you know, it's so wild. We'll talk on that for a half a second. Was I used to think making $100,000 was really big money until I started hanging out with people making $100,000 a month. And then when I got to that level of where I made $100,000 in a month, I thought it was pretty crazy when I got into a situation where I was hanging out with people making $100,000 a day. And then I thought they were crazy until I started meeting people who are making multi-million dollars every day. And I'm just like, there's levels to this. Like, what? But keep in mind, like, what level of field are they playing on? What are they duplicating to create that situation, right? If you want to sell $10,000, you want to make $10,000 a year,
Sell yourself.
You
gotta sell yourself, man. You gotta sell yourself. If you can't close that sale, it's because you're not doing that part. Whether it's ice or snakes.
I'll give you something better. Sell something that costs more, that has a bigger profit margin. That's it.
Yep.
You want to make $100,000? Go sell something that costs $100,000. Like, and it sounds crazy, but like it's literally that easy. I heard this from someone the other day. Like, how do I make $10 million a month? Go sell something that costs $100,000 and sell the crap out of that as many times as you can.
And that's the thing. You can have the vision, but are you willing to put in the grind? Like, for example, like what you're saying, in our business with reptiles, we have the capability of making animals that are worth $200,000, $300,000. You know, you're selling it out of one animal. But the thing is, are you willing to put in that grind for 5-6 years to see if that animal gives that beauty, you know? And if you do hit that goal, then you sold it. But what happens those years where you don't make shit? Are you doing it for the passion or are you doing it for the money? And that's where a lot of people get lost, you know, whether they are doing it for the animals or they're just doing it just to have a puppy mill. It's stupid, but it's things that a lot of people have to stay away with, especially the ones that are high money motivated. You know, there's different ways of making money, especially if you're in the reptile business or any animal business whatsoever. You have to have funds to clean, to feed, to house, to change enclosures, lighting. There's constant things going wrong, you know, especially with natural life.
100%.
Brother, so what do you think your spirit animal is? We kind of talked about that, about lions and other fauna.
I would definitely have to say lions. You know, because I think about even on a very, very like heavy level, if you've seen lions that have been tamed somewhat, you know, they're very big animals. They're very fierce, but they're very kind. You know, they protect their pride. They protect their pack, right? And that's something that, like we talked about in the beginning of this, it's like, you know, where I'm like, I have my gun right here. Like, I protect my pride. Like, if you're coming in my place, like, it's not going to be good for you. Like, I protect my people I'm around. if I'm in a group out and about with friends and someone gets in our face, I'm usually the first one in there. I don't like fighting, but I will, right? Because like that's the lion in me. I'm not saying I'm out actively seeking, like, I'm going to get in trouble today. Let's go fight somebody. Like, no, dude, I do not want to fight people. Like, but if I have to, I will. You know, and I think, the just the overall situation when it comes down to animals like cats, that cat is adorable. Oh man, looks like a little dasher.
So we thought she was a female, but we saw his balls drop this week. He's 8 weeks old, or 11 weeks old, yeah.
He's got the same coloring as Dasher, but he looks just like Buzz when he was a kitten.
His name is Khaleesi.
Yeah, I can see the buzz in him. He's so fluffy. He's gonna be fluffy little cat.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like that with the cat. You know, they're very, very kind. They're very smart. They like their space. But when they want their attention, when they want their affection, it's like, I'm here. They get loud, right? Yeah. So I mean, lots of other situations here. Any other types of situations that I guess we could type into? Yeah, when it comes to anything in life, you know, I would have to say it definitely has to correlate towards your mindset. Mindset is almost everything, but discipline, like people seek and search for these motivational videos. And like we talked about in the beginning, like motivation's bullshit. You have to be disciplined when it comes down to everything we want to do in life, because if you don't have discipline, you don't have anything. Right? Nope. Because you could wake up 7 days a week, right? You could say, I'm going to go tackle it. I'm going to go get after it. But if you're not disciplined, it's not going to happen. And the thing is like, it's kind of like this, right? So imagine like you're going to go on, this is something I had to do this week because I've got a lot of travel going on, right? I ended up having to work longer days throughout this week to account for today, being on this, going and prepping, packing, doing some like, you know, personal maintenance, you know, haircut and whatever, because that takes time, right? It's not like I can just go and do like quick, like you stack everything up, get it all done in one day. But I had to work my schedule around it to account for it. But the difference is what could separate myself and even higher achievers, or even potentially people under not achieving at a higher level like where I'm at, is are they going to be complacent and work that extra, or are they just going to say, well, I'm traveling, I deserve it, I deserve that vacation? And again, that taps back into the entitlement, where a lot of people, I feel, just they need to wake up, because nobody in this world is coming to save you. Like our parents might, but for only so long. You know, even God's not going to come save you. Like you have to seek him, right? Like how do you get better into your yoga stuff? You get your ass in the car, you drive, you get into your position and you start doing your stretches. Like that wasn't Jeffrey, the giraffe helping you here get there. That was George getting there, doing the stretches, you know? And it's like, I'm a firm believer about it. My dad, he does yoga like 7 days a week, and it's helping him lose weight, helping him stay flexible. It's helping him have a better communication world with people, because it's his little community, his little tribe of like yoga people. And I feel like that's really special for some people, and that works. And the stretching I think is awesome. It's just not every yoga studio is designed the same way. So you do have to be cautious, you know,
be wary, because a lot of the practitioners or teachers that claim to be yoga teachers have either been, some type affiliated with a sexual abuser or something. You never know, man. It's crazy, but a lot of these men that claim to be teachers are only out for that. They're only out for a slap in the eye. It's sick to think, but even getting into like the reptile community and talking about photography, when you start dealing with models, it's sick because every other model is so wary about it. They're so afraid of having a situation. And like when we set up our appointments, as you should, we make sure, have a friend, bring people, make it a small little party for yourself, enjoy yourself. It's to make whatever environment or what we're trying to portray in the creativity, whether if it's a photo shoot for yourself or a photo shoot for an event, we're trying to bring that energy to the room, whether it's bringing a friend with yourself or drinking something to make you a little bit more exuberant, whatever you need to do to feel comfortable.
That's super
but
cool.
It's sad to see that being degraded with these types of people, man, because it's not only in like the photography business, but right now within the reptile business. A lot of the greats or the guys that claim to be top breeders are the ones who are doing the bullshit, abusing their employees or not paying them enough or abusing the animals and just building a puppy mill. It's crazy how they abuse the animals. And that's something that I think that I was placed here for, man, because I don't bear with it at all. There's so much bullshit that goes around these faces where people keep these animals in insecure spots or just torturing them, throughout their lives. Mm-hmm. But they make money off of it, and the community just shuns an eye because they're some type of influencer or name in the community. But that doesn't excuse you from animal neglect. That doesn't excuse you for being a shit person.
I agree, dude. 100%. Yeah, and it's good. It's good being the difference, and I could just say, kind of wrap things up on this. Like, I was talking to someone earlier, and it's just like, if you don't have the right mentorship or the leadership within your community, be that difference.
Exactly.
Right? You got to be that difference, because a lot of people are they're running their business or their life based off of what they've been taught, what they know. And that's what kind of opens up the door, is you realize, like, if people aren't giving you what you need in your community. But the thing is, like I said, is no one's coming to save you. So it's up to you to change it. It's up to you to control it. It's up to you to, like, learn the information to level up and pass them up. Right.
Exactly.
And that's it. That's actually inspirational for everybody that could potentially dive into that deeper, because of that simple situation that it's you versus you. So
yeah, man, if you have the ability to analyze and say, like, I can do it because I'm putting my foot forward, or I know that I can succeed in that way, then you crack the code.
Yes, sir.
Brother, what is your favorite animal?
I guess it does depend on the situation. I think monkeys and koalas are pretty cool animals. I love cats. I love dogs. Kangaroos are kind of cool. Dolphins are amazing. Fish. I love fish.
Do you still keep, or you don't have any more?
Dude,
aquariums?
I got rid of them all when I moved to Florida. I don't know. My mom and I have been kind of kicking the idea around about moving back to Vegas, but we have about another year till we're out of my lease just restarted. So I'm like, gives me a little bit of time to figure it out. So hopefully everything, kind of the climate of politics and all this nonsense, cools down, and the housing can cool down as well. And maybe I'll get back out there. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Were you heavy into the breeding with fish, or did you breed at all?
I probably could have, because my angels started popping out fish, and then they started eating them. So, and then I was gonna start doing it with shrimps, because my shrimp tank was going crazy. We had like 10, and then we had like 60 in like an 8-gallon tank. I'm like, how is there so many shrimp? It's like a tiny tank. They just kept popping them out. So I'd say like one thing I do miss is having the shrimp tank. I think they're just majestic little critters, you know, they're little, basically like little like water cockroaches, but they're really pretty.
Were those saltwater or were they
Fresh,
freshwater? Fresh.
freshwater cherries. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I had 3 different tanks. I aquascaped all of them. Had angels, corridoras. I don't even remember all the fish. Tetras, a couple different tanks. You know, the little cleaner fishes, the autocinclus and shrimp tanks, snails, and all that stuff. So
That's nice. Yeah,
yeah,
man.
bro.
Fish is another community that kind of bounces back with the reptile community as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when you started doing this, I was like, hey, I need to get some fish. Hook me up.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, let's see. Trying to read over some of these. Do I utilize sales tactics in business? Yeah, definitely so. You know, there's scripts that you can use. You can go with the flow. I'm a really big firm believer, like have structure in the beginning of the phone call to get where you need to go. Because but then again, there's a lot of flow that you can do with it. You know, like go on the flow, do something that's a little bit off the wall. Like I called someone the other day, oddly enough, and I literally was like, George, they're like, yeah. I'm like, hey, this is Jesse. I'm calling about your life insurance. It says here you like French fries, or are you more of an onion ring person? And they're like, I love French fries. I'm like, cool. Where's your favorite place you get like French fries from? And then we get to talking about French fries for about 90 seconds. And the next thing you know, I'm like, so who's that lovely person you're going to go get French fries with, you know, if something happens to you? They're like, it's going to be my daughter. And I was like, all right, cool. And then next thing you know, I'm in application. So like you can do some really weird stuff and it works.
Yeah, man. I used to do it for Watson by flipping cars. I would call people on Craigslist, tell them that, you know, we'd give them top price for their car and have them flip their car here for a brand new car.
Yeah, dude. You used to flip cars like Tic Tacs.
Fun.
Yeah.
My brother. Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, prior to this though, is you know, crazy careers. You know, the auto technician. We've got auto technician with nightlife DJ, and then now I'm in financial services, helping people with life insurance and safe retirement planning. So, you know, when it does come down to this whole journey of life, you got to just take it a step at a time and trust your season. Be flexible. Don't be so damn hard on yourself, if I could ever say anything like that. Enjoy some good music along the way. You know, some of the good music I've enjoyed, you know, it's been anywhere from like old music to soul to rock to country, not country, but like classic rock to like lo-fi hip hop to drum and bass, house music, man. If it's got a good bass line, I'm jamming to it. I mean, that's my big thing. Like it's got to have a good bass line and then I'm grooving, you know. Not a big fan of country music because I don't care if your tractor blew up or your dog ran away. Like, dude, I'm good.
Brother, well, you self-answered all those questions, man. In regard to your DJing experience, do you remember any time where there was a catalyst in your life where you said, I want to switch from this and this is over, like I'm done? Because usually, like, I meet DJs and they're like, I've done this my entire life and I want to continue to do this. But like, have you had an experience like that where it was just like, I'm done?
Yeah, 100%. And ever since I was a little kid, like I wanted to be a rock star or a baseball player or something like that. Just because like I was told I wasn't smart enough to be anything else. So I figured like I would be doing something with music. So through high school, I wanted to be like a big DJ, and I did. You know, I was touring the country. I DJ'd across the world a little bit. Now in regards towards continuing that, you know, because of my personal decisions, I wouldn't want to have kept that up. I think if I had a healthier lifestyle, potentially, maybe better discipline at the time when I was DJing, to say no to certain surroundings or the things that can kind of vibe with that type of culture, I would say, yeah, I probably would have done it longer. There's some days I do miss, DJing clubs and, being around it. But then again, like I think about the surroundings of who I'm with. And right now I'm at a season over the last probably 5-6 years where I'm getting extremely picky on where I spend my time and who I'm giving my time to, just because if I'm going to be giving somebody a time, like an hour or 2 hours of my day, like I think about how many people I could have helped during that time frame. And so like when I am spending time with people, it's really like a big thing for me personally. It may not be a big thing for other people, but like for me, like
We
I give my time.
appreciate that from heart, brother.
I appreciate you, man. I mean, like there's the only reason I really did this because we were friends for a long time. And it's hopefully somebody on the other end of this could just maybe see this one day and just say, hey, I got inspired to change my life and to start making better decisions and to do that. So yes, there was definitely a point in time in my life where it went from, being laid off from Tesla. I was a nightlife DJ, making some really stupid choices at the time too, with some extracurricular activities. I never got caught doing them or selling them. It's just so I never got caught selling them. But then that's what kind of transferred me into selling things that are legitimate and where I don't have to look over my shoulder, and I can do things that are actually going to help people instead of potentially harm people and have them end up in jail too. So like, yeah, there was definitely a pinnacle point in my career where I'm like, this isn't for me anymore. But again, that was me. I had to take ownership over the decisions that I made. So
Exactly. And there's certain, points where we get to life and you just got to change it. Man, your stories are very inspirational by the point of views and what you share, brother. I'm pretty sure somebody will pick up on it. I just do want to say, man, it's a big thanks to have you here on the show. Without the guest, this wouldn't be the Spirit Animal Podcast, brother. Do want to call this off, man. I do thank you for joining us here tonight. Bear with me here momentarily. I'm going to go ahead and put you here in the back room. I'm going to close it up, and I'll be right back with you.
All right, appreciate you, bro.
No problem, man.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you, brother. This was the Spirit Animal Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight with Jesse Hantla, an entrepreneur, various business since he was young. Look at all the stories that he's accomplished throughout this podcast. Make sure to watch it all thoroughly. Join us on the next episode. We will be joining here with a special guest that will be announced throughout the week. Always much love, the real George of the Jungle.